Good morning. I'm pleased to declare the 2012 graduate commencement exercises for Quinnipiac University officially open. Would you please stand for the invocation, which will be delivered by Rabbi Rena Judd, University Rabbi.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. May it be the will of all that is sacred and holy that the wisdom hereby bestowed upon you be a force for good and right, for peace and health. Amen.
Please be seated. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the members of our platform party, which consists of our speaker and honorary degree recipient, who you will meet in a few moments, university administrators, and the deans and program directors of our schools and college. It is now my honor to present Dr. John L. Leahy, president of Quinnipiac University, who will bring you greetings on behalf of the university community.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to all of you on this joyous occasion. To each and every one of our graduates today, I want to extend my heartiest congratulations. You should all feel justifiably proud of your accomplishments and most deserving of the degrees that will be conferred upon you. This year's graduating class had exceptional performance in the classroom and in your various internships and clinical experiences. And as a result, there are many exciting and rewarding careers that await you. Quinnipiac's reputation continues to advance, both in terms of academic quality and national recognition. In just a year, we will be enrolling our first class into Quinnipiac's Frank H. Netter School of Medicine. Combined with our existing graduate programs in nursing and physician assistant, we will be among a handful of universities nationally in our commitment to primary care education. I'm also pleased to recognize our pathology assistants graduates who are celebrating their program's 40th graduating class. The pathology assistant program was our first full-time graduate program at Quinnipiac, and back then we had just 117 students in all of our graduate programs combined. Whereas today, by contrast, we have over 2,300 graduate students, and that number continues to grow. Many of our other graduate programs are also receiving national recognition, including our School of Business, being ranked again this year among the top 100 business schools nationally. All of these achievements in graduate education are clearly a consequence of the exceptional work of our outstanding faculty and the excellent leadership of our deans and program directors. In the final analysis, though, the quality of our graduate programs will be judged best by our graduates and your professional achievements in the years ahead. Graduates of the class of 2012, you have truly excelled during your years at Quinnipiac University, and I have no doubt that you will be outstanding leaders in your chosen professions. Again, my congratulations and best wishes to each and every one of you.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Sarah Moeller. Sarah is a graduating Master of Arts in Teaching student and member of the Graduate Student Council, who will welcome you on behalf of the graduates.
Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of the graduate student body, I'd like to welcome families, faculty, staff, and distinguished guests. To the mothers out there, including my mother and Nana, happy Mother's Day. And last but certainly not least, to the class of 2012, welcome and congratulations. Your hard work and motivation have truly paid off. As you have demonstrated, having the right attitude and drive means success in this world. Throughout my life, my father has told me, always have a positive mental attitude, or as he liked to refer to it as, PMA. As a child, this quote would always make me roll my eyes. However, as I moved through college and into graduate school, I learned what having a positive mental attitude truly means. Having a positive mental attitude means expecting the best out of yourself, knowing that you have what it takes to succeed in your task. Having a positive mental attitude means taking what life gives you and making it work for you. In my own life, I have found that having a positive outlook on life has allowed me to take the challenges and adversities that I've had to face and make the most of it. Moving out into the world on our own can be a very daunting task. The current economic climate can make it hard to find jobs. However, if you take a positive outlook on the situation, you will know deep within your heart that coming from Quinnipiac University, you are incredibly prepared for whatever obstacles may come your way. Personally, this university has given me the opportunity to grow as a person and a professional who is capable to enter into the workplace and thrive, always with a positive mental attitude. I'm going to leave you with a quote from Thomas Jefferson. "Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. Nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude." On behalf of the Graduate Student Council, congratulations to the class of 2012. I can't wait to see what you will accomplish with a positive mental attitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I now call forward Bill Strickland, Gloria Holmes, and John Leahy for conferral of the honorary degree.
Bill Strickland, you have said that a successful life is not something you simply pursue, it is something you create. As president and CEO of Manchester Bidwell Corporation and its subsidiaries, Manchester Craftsmen's Guild and the Bidwell Training Center, you live by this belief and have strived to help others do the same. You are also a visionary. At a young age, you spotted a connection between the creativity inspired by art and the skills needed for business success. Your vision of education uses art to encourage students to bring forth their entrepreneurial spirit. Knowing that a better world is the product of stronger community connections, you have established numerous partnerships with local businesses and schools. Manchester Bidwell has created an atmosphere that fosters innovation, creativity, responsibility, and integrity. It's a place where students can realize their potential. Through your leadership, Manchester Bidwell stands as a national model for education, culture, and hope. You grew up in Pittsburgh as the steel economy was crumbling. You saw the need for change and a way to make it happen. Through your leadership, Bidwell Training became a leading provider of skills relevant to Pittsburgh's emerging market economy. In recognition of your respect for the human spirit and dedication to providing a quality education to underprivileged students, Quinnipiac University is proud to present you with the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters this 13th day of May, 2012.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
It's now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Bill Strickland.
This is the best way to get a PhD. Somebody gives you one. It's nice to be here. And the best part about my speech that's not very long, that usually gets us a little applause. From the graduates. But I'm honored to be here as your commencement speaker for Quinnipiac University. The fact that I was selected as commencement speaker, given my background and life circumstances, is in itself a beacon of hope. Once upon a time, I was an inner city public school kid, failing academically and totally adrift, and was lucky enough to meet an art teacher named Frank Ross, who was an accomplished potter. I saw him make a ceramic vessel in class one day, and it was a defining moment and magical experience that altered my life permanently. At the end of that year, Mr. Ross took a job at a local university and declared that he was not going to leave me behind to die on the streets like a lot of my friends. He drove me out to the University of Pittsburgh, insisted I fill out a college application, and I was admitted as a probationary student because I failed the scholastic aptitude test, never having seen it before. Well, I'm very pleased to tell you that not only did I graduate from the University of Pittsburgh with honors, I now am a trustee of the University of Pittsburgh and was the commencement speaker. In front of 13,000 people, and got up and said, "Don't give up on the poor kids, they might end up being the commencement speaker." It's that story that underscores a number of possibilities and deep concerns that I have about the current state of public education in our country. And that includes Connecticut and my home state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. 25 years ago, when I began to look more critically at the educational system beyond Pittsburgh and the state of Pennsylvania, at that point, the public school system across America and in my own community was at a point of virtual collapse. I still believe that this is the case, and if it is possible to imagine such a condition, the problem has gotten worse. Dropout rates in most urban cities are averaging 30% for minorities back then, and we're closing in on 20% for white students. Today, the dropout rate nationally is 50% for Black and Hispanic kids across this country. Literacy levels and computational skills have regressed, and child rearing centers are now appearing in public schools, while art programs are being closed or defunded. Metal detectors are now common standard operating practice in many urban schools. In my own city, metal detectors are permanent fixtures. They are the first thing that greet kids in the morning, along with cameras and steel gray doors. In two instances, two of those high schools in my community once led the nation in national merit scholars with many students scoring perfectly on the Scholastic Aptitude Test. What now exists are guards, metal detectors, and fear as the basis for the provision of education. In a recent incident in one of our schools, these children were literally at the point of full-scale rioting, necessitating massive intervention by the Pittsburgh police. Tragically, in most urban schools, this has become the norm and not the exception. In other words, schools resemble places of incarceration rather than places of hope. One would think that I am describing a place from hell itself, but in fact, I'm describing one school district in only one city, and unfortunately, this has now become the standard in many places. There are hundreds, perhaps thousands of situations in school districts that are much worse and who in some instances have totally collapsed. The net result of these failures can be measured in the lives lost, the productivity that is lost due to the thousands of kids who will not have a contributing role in industry, commerce, or their community. In other words, they will not be assets in any sense of the word. On the liability side, it is or should be obvious that children who fail to graduate from school and achieve the basic skills of reading, math, and language are condemned to a life of high unemployment, transient lifestyle, and broken families, often accompanied with alcohol, drug abuse, and domestic violence. The cost on the liability side relative to life lost is enormous, but the cost of policing, incarceration, emergency medical care, and life subsidy is almost beyond calculation. We as a nation are spending on police power, medical assistance, and life income subsidies more than the budget of whole nations on our planet. In Pennsylvania, it costs $40,000 to $50,000 per year to keep a person in jail, a sum that could be useful for sending someone to medical school. In Pennsylvania, the average private school tuition is about $18,000 per year, which in the case of my public school system is about the exact same yearly cost for students enrolled in a system that cannot graduate 50% of its students. If that condition surfaced at my child's private school, the headmaster would be immediately dismissed, the board of the school dismantled, and a new administrative leadership put into place. We experience similar numbers, unfortunately, in many public schools. There are no emergency bulletins on the news and no march to the board from these communities. Everyone sleeps soundly as if everything is all right. I would like to suggest that things are not all right. And I would predict that the net result of the collective neglect of our school system and its children will have significant and possibly catastrophic implications on our lives if something is not done to arrest this problem. Communities that have dysfunctional schools are themselves ultimately dysfunctional. Companies become reluctant to move to communities whose schools are not up to par. Property values tend to stay low, below market investment, and a low market investment climate therefore is created. The psychological process of a negative self-image creates an environment that becomes a cancer that's out of control. The good news is that the conditions and circumstances that I have been describing are capable of remediation. Communities can have schools that work, that are cost-effective, that operate in an environment of promise and hope. The reason I know this is true is because I run such a school in a tough neighborhood that has become very successful at working with kids from poverty circumstances, but in an environment of hope and safety, rather than an environment of fear and failure. When I arrived at the Bidwell Training Center 40 years ago, it was a dysfunctional vocational school with poor management, low morale, a non-existent board, and students unable to compete. Prior to assuming Bidwell, I had founded my arts program, Manchester Craftsman's Guild, as an inner-city arts and education program modeled after my own life. We took clay and photography and used them as tools to rebuild the lives of kids who had been pushed aside from our school system. To this day, my work with the arts and these children continues with extraordinary success. We graduate 95% of our students every year for the last 20 years. My first gesture at Bidwell, on the other hand, was to literally paint the entire building. I bought the beer and I bought the paint. And I expected anyone who did not participate would not have a job when the painting was completed. I am pleased to say that I experienced 100% staff cooperation in this first act of reclamation. I had decided to take control of the circumstances and not to be defined by those circumstances. I had decided that we were going to become something and not experience the fate of similar programs of the past. At Bidwell, I went out to employers. I came up with this very revolutionary idea. I asked them what they needed in an employee before I started teaching it. And it was a very rare opportunity to meet employers at the level where they wanted to be engaged. A common sense solution, but one that is very rarely adopted. I challenge you to ask most public school administrators when they have sat down with employers and developed a joint curriculum. It often does not happen. So in my view, I can understand why there is almost no relationship between what school does and what the employer and the marketplace need. The solution to this dilemma does not require an advanced degree in education to accomplish. It requires initiative and a desire to do the right thing. Over the years with this industry Bidwell partnership, our students were able to construct the entire cable system for the city of Pittsburgh, and in the process created 50 highly skilled technicians, many of whom remain leaders in the field of cable and information technology to this very day. Using the cable industry model, Bidwell was able to form partnerships in medical technology, and computer science, and chemical technology, and culinary arts, and the financial community. Today, the Bidwell School takes students who are poor and dysfunctional, and within 12 months are capable of performing at a level beyond industry standards in the vast majority of the cases. In some cases, these were students with high school diplomas that they were unable to read. By creating an environment of hope and creating physical space that reflects the human imagination and assembling teachers who live those convictions, we can train poor people to be successful in virtually any industry that they are given an opportunity to be a part of. In the case of the Bayer Chemical Corporation, a world leader in chemical analysis and manufacturing, we have for over 15 years taken inner city, out of work, dysfunctional welfare folks and made them fully functioning and certified chemical lab technicians in 10 months flat. When one visits our school, you will see poor, working-class mothers doing analytical chemistry using logarithmic calculators within 1 year after enrollment in our school. We presently have more than 40 research technicians working for Bayer, Calgon Carbon, BASF, Nova Chemical, Aristech, just to cite a few. These technicians are also finding opportunities with medical labs at the University of Pittsburgh and the West Penn Allegheny Health System. Once an environment of performance is established and a culture based on achievement and value, education is embraced. The school and its faculty have become accustomed to high-powered, market-oriented education that is now geared toward life-enhancing strategies. It is my belief that a substantial majority of our children would perform at a much higher level of interest and sophistication if schools adopted a career focus in addition to basic academic education. I do not believe that there is any value added to having a young person enroll in college because they can't do anything else in life. I believe that there is dignity in vocation. At Bidwell, we have eliminated the stigma often associated with vocational education. We have made it desirable to be able to earn a good living. Given the thousands of jobs just in Pittsburgh alone that are going unfulfilled due to the almost total absence of industry-driven education. I believe that this is well within our ability to offer creative, life-enhancing environments from which many students, thousands of students, would be effectively employed and become contributing members of the community. Briefly, the other half of my life involves the use of the arts as a strategy for educating inner-city kids. The program entitled Manchester Craftsmen's Guild operates on the belief that as every child has the potential for achievement, the program is co-located with my Bidwell Vocational Facility and world-class facilities that offer state-of-the-art materials and equipment, a faculty that cares about the students, and an environment that assumes that everyone can learn. Last year, 90% of the students polled had gone on to college, and we have varied significant outcomes with this population for 15 years. These were kids designated as potential failures and unable to learn. People respond to their environment. In other words, if you build a school with metal bars, metal detectors, and cameras, and steel doors, people act like prisoners. If you build schools that stress learning and excellence and look that way, you will achieve results very similar to what we have experienced in Pittsburgh. There is no advanced degree required for achieving the impact of children I have just described, but it does require passion, a zeal, and an insistence on doing things right as opposed to doing things wrong. At the Manchester Craftsmen's Guild, we also have a jazz presenting program in which we bring the world's greatest jazz artists to a concert hall in the middle of the inner city. Artists like Wynton Marsalis, Herbie Hancock, and Nancy Wilson have come to play to sold-out audiences in the middle of the inner city that everyone had given up on for dead. Each artist that has come has been very supportive of our work, and in many instances allowed our center to record them as a contribution to our educational archives. The jazz program was conceived of as both a recapturing of an important Pittsburgh cultural tradition, but also a means of presenting world-class artists in an environment that their music demanded. In the case of Dizzy Gillespie, for example, I asked Mr. Gillespie why would he take the time to come to a minority-run arts and education center that at the time had no reputation in music. Dizzy replied that he had heard about the center from a guy named Dr. Billy Taylor, a world-class jazz educator, before his death, who had become one of my closest friends. Dizzy remarked that he did not believe that the center of this description existed on the planet, run by a black person, and he wanted to see it for himself if it was true. He then said, "I am so taken with what you have accomplished here that I want to leave you a gift. The gift is my permission to record this concert, and I will give you the rights to the music as my contribution to this effort. Someday the music may have some value, and I wanted it to be known for all time that I was here." We recorded Dizzy, and he died several years later, but not before Joe Williams and Monty Alexander and Stanley Turrentine and Tito Puente and Carmen McRae and Betty Carter and Shirley Horn came, just to name a few. In the vast majority of the cases, we not only recorded the artists, we recorded them in sold-out venues in the middle of the inner city. These artists came to love the mission of the school, as I suspected they would. In a very special instance, our center was able to convert the music of Count Basie to a jazz-winning Grammy CD. We've won 6 so far, 9 Grammy nominations. Today, it is my hope to build centers like this across our country and eventually around the world that include, I hope, graduates of Quinnipiac University. The Connecticut Center for the Arts and Technology, which recently opened in New Haven, is the most recent example of a world-class center we have in mind. The development and program guided by its very capable chairman, Carlton Highsmith, and supported by a number of prominent corporate leaders in the community, including Yale New Haven Hospital and the Community Foundation of Greater New Haven, to name a few, have put together a clear alternative to tragedy and lack of hope. Directed by a young man named Eric Clemens, the center has been outfitted with state-of-the-art equipment and faculty, a superior administrative team, and a full partnership with the New Haven public school system that has enthusiastically embraced this idea on behalf of some of its children. We have an eye on many of their at-risk children. And in particular, we have also developed the first national partnership with the community college system of Greater New Haven, which we believe may become a national model of best practices. We believe that CONCAT will quickly become recognized as the leader in its field. We believe it could well become the gold standard in training for the disadvantaged throughout the Northeast someday, and in this way significantly advance our goal of changing the conversation regarding poverty in the United States of America. Quinnipiac University and all the good faces in the audience today closely resemble what I have in mind for every school in America, and not just universities, but public schools and charter schools and private not-for-profits and proprietary schools, involving elementary, middle, and secondary levels. The secret sauce is on glorious display today in this auditorium. It is called hope, optimism, human possibility, and the entrepreneurial spirit. I believe if we can maintain this approach, it will help reestablish this country as the educational and innovative leader across the world that the world needs so desperately to see. Congratulations to all of you, and the best in your lives ahead.
Thank you, Bill. It's now my privilege to introduce Dr. Hans Bergman, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences.
Thank you. Good morning. I bring you greetings and congratulations from the faculty and students of the College of Arts and Sciences. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Science, Molecular and Cell Biology, please rise and approach the platform? Azra F. Al-Mubarak, Widith A. Al-Yosef, Melissa L. DiBacco, Christopher J. Foster, Warren Holland Racine, Yefrik C. Mani, Erica N. O'Kane, Scott A. Pearl, Kayla L. Sokolsky, Tiffany L. Schroeder, Noura I. Zaran, Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Science, Cell and Molecular Biology.
Please stand, right?
Please stand.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Molecular and Cell Biology with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
It's now my privilege to introduce Dr. Matthew O'Connor, Dean of the School of Business.
Will the candidates for the degree Master of Business Administration please rise and approach the podium? Bianca Abella, Carol Akira, Elizabeth Albanese, Gino Ang, MD, John A. Armas, Usman Asif, Eva Bartalos, Michael A. Bartlett, Nicholas S. Bartlett, Keith Bierman, Ross S. Bennett. John J. Blatchley. Joshua B. Bornstein. Ariel Bosco. Yuri Buharovich. Thomas Beauregard. John Logan Brady. Stephen R. Cooper. Nicholas Alexander Cafiero. Dean R. Zerwanka. Dominic DeMauro. Raymond G. Decker III. Robert D. DiPiola. Nicholas R. DeStefano. Mary Catherine Dolan. Benjamin R. Farina. Deirdre McGarity Farrell. Brian E. Ferran. Zohal Giazada. Jason J. Jamboy. Jacob Gregory Glabaki. Matthew J. Goddard. Aaron E. Greco. Andrzej Hertzeg. Joseph Holloway. Christopher M. Jonas. Nirupama Sharma Ketru. Sylvia Karvovska. Colleen E. Kelly. Kevin P. Kelly. Caitlin M. Kirby. Nicole M. Quishan. Chelsea R. Lamana. Hong Lee Lu. Brittany Ann McPhee. Andra A. Mandeville. Michelle L. Massimi. Andrew M. Meyernick. Matthew R. McLaughlin. Kyle J. McNulty. Kirk T. Medrahowski. Jennifer Mello. Tony Mello. Ralph George Mesite III. Alyssa Christine Mills. Janine Catherine Minerva. Lauren J. Montemero. Danielle I. Moskowitz. Megan A. Murray. Eva Nadanova. David T. Neves. Hung V. Nguyen. Sarah E. O'Brien. Michaela R. Olette. Krista M. Palazzo. Paul A. Peonessa, Jr. Elizabeth A. Pramutico. Anthony J. Pusateri. Dennis F. Putala. Steve L. Robinson. Vincent P. Santarella III. Christopher M. Shapiro. Jennifer A. Skipper. Anthony W. Sorrentino. Cornelius V. Spillane IV. Derek J. Stanley. Donna Starzecki. Lizanne Steinert. Eric Sturgeon. Veronica V. Schkopp. Glenn J. Taylor. Usman Shafiq Tour. Frank Tefano. Pamela M. Vattini. Caitlin T. Walsh. Colin M. Wilkinson. Anthony E. Wright. Brittany L. Young. What's your name? Melissa Zaffney. Anthony Zario. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you candidates for the degree Master of Business Administration.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Business Administration with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
You may be seated. Will the candidates for the degree Master of Business Administration, Healthcare Management, please approach the podium? Andres F. Artiaga. Sarah Elizabeth Crampton. Peter L. Forte. Justin C. Manchester. Austin B. Potter. Shannon M. St. Hilaire. Wheatley Wenzel. Tanya M. White. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you candidates for the degree Master of Business Administration, Healthcare Management.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Business Administration in Healthcare Management with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Information Technology please approach the podium? Wilma Bethia Reeves. Patrick J. Hennigan. Sultan Mushni. Paul Ryan Rauzansky. Thomas Summer. Aaron M. Verone. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you candidates for the degree Master of Science in Information Technology.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Information Technology with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
Will candidates for the degree Master of Science in Organizational Leadership please approach the podium? Alicia Alvarez. George F. Battle. Ternika Bowden. Jeanette Bronsort. Teresa Buchanan. Bonnie Bell Candelario. Christina D. Del Rey. Camilla Teresa Victoria Edwards. Dina Marie Farber. Kim Marie Framsky. Susan Ganley. Michael R. Gauthier, Jr. Janine M. Gibson. Marianne Green. Nicholas Henshin. 8. Highsmith Lumpkin. Megan Hogarth. Omar A. Idris. Lisa LeBlanc. Dana Lee. Jenna R. Martini. Mary Elizabeth McVeigh. Henry Mighty. Michelle Montepera. Rosa Yvette Nieves. Aaron Olson. Mary O'Sullivan. Nancy June Petrillo. Brittany Morgan Presley. Emily Ann Ramirez. Carolee Rodriguez. Gabrielle M. Simone. Amy Tuccio. Gregory Voss. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you candidates for the degree Master of Science in Organizational Leadership.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Organizational Leadership with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
Congratulations from the School of Business to all of today's graduates.
It's my privilege now to introduce Lee Camlett, Dean of the School of Communications.
Good morning and congratulations to all from the School of Communications. Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Interactive Communications please approach the podium? Daniel E. Adams. Natalie Aho. Sumna Avila. Jessica L. Bade. Catherine A. Brown. Janice Bush. Susan Cardillo. Tracy Carpenter. Jonathan A. Facento. Ronald D. Henry. Danielle J. Howell. Trista L. Jensen. Alex A. Luca. Lana Monday Lumpkins. Sean Mandible. Marilyn Montano Turner. Joanne M. Mosger. Jeffrey Oldmixon. Angelina Reyes. Carice Richard Godet. Stephen C. Saunders. Tiberius Skarzinski. Lucas Swineford. Mr. President, it's my privilege to present to you the candidates for Master of Science in Interactive Communications.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Interactive Communications with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
Would the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Journalism please approach the podium? Dana M. Bagat. Evan W. Baker. Michael Dennis Bonzagni. Carmen Chow. Julie Chung. Antronig Derayan. Daniela Giordano. Andrew Kufta. Jeffrey A. Langan. Margaret Eleanor Lowmiller. Nam Nguyen. Anna Poludenko. Joanne M. Robertson. Eddie Segarra. Lauren C. Tikoris. Dimitra E. Tiradikidis. Anita P. Varghese. Mr. President, it is my honor to present to you the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Journalism.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Journalism with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
Would the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Public Relations please approach the podium? Jordana Marie Caradillo. Kyla M. Miles. Megan K. Murphy. Lindsay M. Oliveri. Mr. President, it's my honor to present to you the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Public Relations.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the four of you the degree of Master of Science in Public Relations with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Gary Alger, Interim Dean of the School of Education.
Greetings from the School of Education. Happy Mother's Day. Congratulations to all of our candidates today. I ask the candidates for the Master of Arts in Teaching Elementary Education degree to please approach the podium. Congratulations. Melissa M. Ambrosio. Megan E. Ames. Kristen E. Babowitz. Congratulations. Aaron M. Bayer. Congratulations. Jamie G. Barnstone. Kathleen Margaret Blauvelt. Congratulations. Christine E. Bulwage. Lauren G. Burrows. Lauren A. Caselli. Erin Elizabeth Clark. Victoria R. Clark. Ashley Coral. Kimberly G. Corvey. Nicole A. Eagle. Kimberly A. Emhart. Congratulations. Laura A. Fitzpatrick. Congratulations. Erica M. Fleischman. Marissa J. Fortino. Patricia A. Foss. Jennifer M. Griffin. Catherine T. Heineman. Nicole S. Hirsch. Laura E. Iannotti. Therese M. Irving. Sarah A. Lebrode. Jacqueline R. Lara. Haley A. Lensack. Karen M. Lieberman. Alyssa A. Logano. Tracy N. Lorenzo. Caitlin M. Love. Congratulations. Teresa J. Majorano. Hira Malik. Elizabeth J. Martin. Carissa L. Masota. Kellen B. McKenna. Robert E. Messer. Sarah Elizabeth Moeller. Tiffany M. Montesione. Kristen E. Murcott. Nicole R. Nathan. Danielle M. Nizardo. Samantha T. O'Donnell. Heather R. Pellos. Carrie Ann M. Pinto. Melanie J. Price. Danielle M. Riley. Michelle S. Rome. Carrie E. Russell. Samantha S. Sardella. Ashley Rose Sherman. Rachel L. Solomon. Daniela M. Stiso. Danielle M. Strategos. Suzanne Sullivan. Brooke Elizabeth Tooney Farley. Nicholas J. Tuosto. Alexandra M. Zaka. Mr. President, I'm pleased to present the candidates for the Master of Arts in Teaching elementary education degree.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts in Teaching in Elementary Education with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
I ask the candidates for the Master of Arts in Teaching secondary education degree to please rise and approach the podium. Congratulations. Allison J. Antonucci. Caitlin M. Armstrong. Evan R. Belisle. Tammy L. Bensavenga. Tamra D. Bender. Kevin M. Benzing. Eric J. Brennan. Stephanie A. Brockovich. Kristen E. Sinkyu. Amanda M. Carrazza. Gina R. Curcio. Stephen T. DeFalco. Maura A. Delaney. Kelsey Elizabeth Doheny. Gina A. Favat. Ariel R. Fisher. Colleen A. Fitzgerald. Cynthia M. Frank. Alicia N. Golembeski. Elizabeth M. Haggerty. Danielle J. Howe. Michael Hirschenfeld. Jennifer Kober. Kristen A. Kruger. Matthew R. Labani. Victoria J. Lakis. Jessica A. Levy. Aaron S. Lewis. Jenna Elise Malavasi. Jillian C. Maniscalco. Dina M. Marino. Kristen M. McDonald. Danielle G. Oliveri. Lauren E. Peacock. Jonathan R. Rappaport. Amanda May J. Rapoli. Jacob M. Sweet. Catherine E. Van Nostrand. President Leahy, I'm pleased to present the candidates for the Master of Arts in Teaching secondary education degree.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts in Teaching in secondary education with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
I ask the candidates for the Master of Science in Teacher Leadership degree to please approach the podium. Sarah Miriam Allen. Janet A. Billiter. Deanna DeLugo. Alexandra C. Fowler. Sarah Kaminsky. Jennifer L. Moore. President Leahy, I'm pleased to present the first graduating class for the Master of Science in Teacher Leadership degree.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Teacher Leadership with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
President Leahy, seeing that the candidates for the six-year diploma program are not with us today, that concludes our program for the School of Education, the conferring of the degrees. Happy Mother's Day. Congratulations to everyone.
It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Edward O'Connor, Dean of the School of Health Sciences.
Will the candidates for the degree Master of Health Science in Cardiovascular Perfusion please come forward? Uriah J. Dudgeon. Taraj R. Rajabapur. William L. Regan. Edward D. Whitehead. Rebecca A. Zaraski. Mr. President, I have the pleasure to present to you candidates for the degree Master of Health Sciences in Cardiovascular Perfusion.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Health Science in Cardiovascular Perfusion with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will candidates for the degree Master of Health Sciences in Medical Laboratory Sciences please approach the platform? Tashfeen S. Ahmed. Ali G. Al-Kathami. Zainab H. Alili. Mansour Al-Bagami. Sarah M. Al-Ghul. Jovan F. Almazan. Ali Muhammad Al-Samo. Muhammad Y. Al-Sharani. Maha Abdulaziz Al-Zair. Cephas Ando. Lucy S. D'Angelo. Genzel A. Francis. Ali A. Al-Zair. Joshua M. Gleason. Hector D. Gonzalez. Amy Lee Honeycutt. Ruba A. Jadala. Fauzi E. Milad. Jemima Monchery. Alazri A. Munir. Maria Soteropoulos. Corey Stewart. Marissa L. Testa. Amy Thies. Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you candidates for the degree Master of Health Sciences in Medical Laboratory Science.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Health Science in Medical Laboratory Sciences with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
Will candidates for the degree Master of Health Sciences, Pathologist Assistant, please come forward? Thomas P. Ackerley. Erica M. Barros. Annabelle Canho. Alyssa DeThomas. Chelsea Grawn. Diana Marie Holmes. Curtis A. Kendall. Lindsay N. Kenny. Hasko Kramer. Amanda Lavery. Katrina T. Lay. Nancy Mendoza. Ami Patel. Lisette N. Sigobin. Nicole A. St. Pierre. Kathleen Steinkirchner. Danielle T. Schmerlo. Andrea Schneider. Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you candidates for the degree Master of Health Sciences, Pathologist Assistant.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Health Science and Pathologist Assistant with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will candidates for the degree Master of Health Sciences and Physician Assistant please come forward? Erica Bertoncini. Richard L. Blanchard. Amanda E. Campbell. Elma M. Carbu. Jennifer Lynn Clark. Stephanie L. Colella. Brenton R. Dempsey. Candace M. Dodge. Amanda E. Dolan. Stephanie A. DeBook DeFlavio. Michael P. Zabina. Tanya M. Dubati. Stephen J. Escaravage. Claire E. Fortier. Robin F. Fusnich. Jessica Lynn Giller. Michael J. Hahn. Spencer Hill. Stephanie Ann Hull. Brian A. Krawoski. Christina L. Kelly. Joseph P. Kokot. Heather Marie Koning. Tabitha L. Kramars. Umalara Lyensi. Magdalena Lukovic. Aaron Lystad. Andrea L. Meyer. Sammy No. Mumbi M. Nuji. Joseph A. Radich. Kelly L. Richards. Louis Raquelme III. Sam F. Shumway. Tracy M. Sroka. Danielle Tashikori. Sharon Tokars. Bella C. Vogt. Chelsea L. Wabrek. Taylor C. Welch. Caitlin M. Whitlock. Rosanna L. Zuckerman. Michelle K. Zwicky. Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you candidates for the degree Master of Health Sciences, Physician Assistant.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Health Science and Physician Assistant with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will candidates for the degree Master of Health Sciences, Radiologist Assistant, please come forward. Adrienne B. Koya. Jose G. Graterol. Sandra Marcellin. Amy R. Orbash. Courtney Leanne Sullivan. Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you candidates for the degree Master of Health Sciences, Radiologist Assistant.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Health Science and Radiologist Assistant with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, all of you.
Will candidates for the degree of Master of Occupational Therapy please come forward? Christian G. Alvarez. Nicole M. Ambrosini. Heather E. Anderson. Justine A. Baylog. Michelle N. Baum. Kate E. Bayless. Larissa H. Bogdan. Mira L. Bransfield. Colleen E. Casey. Christina L. Caterino. Kimberly A. Corsieri. Sabrina Claudio. Jacqueline D. Corcoran. Megan D. Cram. Christina M. DeBellis. Andrea J. DeMeo. Nicole K. Fuller. Leanne Gamarati. Jasmine S. Germain. Elaine Roxanne D. Gomez. Alexandra M. Goodlovich. Lauren M. Gustavin. Thomas D. Haku. Carrie L. Haying. Megan E. Kane. Leanne C. Kearns. Erin Caitlin LeCount. Sarah E. Letterly. Jillian E. Lewis. Christina L. Lim. Catherine T. Linane. Laura J. Lowell. Lisa A. Lowenthal. Casey A. Martin. Brittany A. Michael. Tina M. Mangiardo. Tanisha N. Oliver. Kayla E. Palmieri. Shannon S. Payne. Sarah E. Phoenix. Jennifer M. Perello. Catherine A. Protera. Lindsay N. Ravelis. Bernadette M. Reed. Amanda L. Rios. Michael T. Rivers. Amanda M. Solera. Jennifer E. Scarlett. Elizabeth E. Smith. Kelly A. Sorrell. Brittany L. Splain. Ryerson J. Stinson. Leah Sturdivant. Amanda R. Sullivan. Sarah L. Taggart. Lindsay K. Torrey. Melissa A. Woodhouse. Brittany A. Weiskiel. Caitlin A. Zarek. Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you candidates for the degree Master of Occupational Therapy.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Occupational Therapy with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
Will the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Occupational Therapy please approach the platform? Maria Cox. Teresa S. R. Gover. Rebecca A. Lamb. Gail Lindsay. Gloria Mixon. Beverly Moten. Kathleen R. Nozeri. Lauren A. Pease. Mary Ellen Centucci. Alicia E. Puccio. Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you candidates for the degree Master of Science in Occupational Therapy.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Occupational Therapy with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
Will candidates for the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy please approach the platform? Jessica A. Addis. Michelle V. Agostini. Christy L. Bergella. Kevin P. Berghorn. Laura C. Burnt. Jennifer Estelle Braga. Thomas S. Burns. Jacqueline Haley Cascone. Aaron M. Casey. Natalie C. Catterall. Erica R. Chekas. Gabriella B. Cifelli. Julie L. Knatzer. Brittany L. Corsetti. Kevin E. Costello. Hillary N. Kuva. Alexandra N. Denkus. Ashley C. Donovan. Megan M. Dowdle. Lisa A. Falvo. Nicole E. Frazier. Dustin M. Gartner. Andrea M. Gatto. Meredith L. Gable. Ashley N. Goldbach. Emily M. Groshin. Sarah E. Groshin. Tessa A. Gralnick. Scott P. Hebert. Pamela A. Hubert. Marissa L. Heinowski. Amanda K. Kannengeiser. Sarah K. Kent. Christopher C. Kirschner. Adam G. Keston. Amber S. Kilmer. Kimberly M. Klauber. Ryan D. Kleps. Jessica L. Lesage. Mallory A. Mateo. Carly M. Miller. Dana L. Monahan. Sarah P. Morin. Bridget M. Mulroy. Chelsea E. Noble. Colleen P. O'Shea. Tricia A. Peterson. Jessica L. Pop. Carrie J. Quigley. Jeffrey E. Reisman. Aaron E. Sargent. Kristen E. Silva. Lauren M. Simon. Kelly L. Sneezik. Kaylee J. Spalding. Sarah K. St. Gillet. Audra L. Stawicki. Kristen F. Stevenson. Jennifer L. Swenty. Melissa L. Thiel. Megan Washburn Trull. Tracy Lee Underhill. Johanna B. Wallach. Allison Wells. Kristen Elizabeth Wilgosh. Meredith A. Willan. Delbert Kennedy Zasher. Amanda Jacqueline Zielinski. Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you candidates for the degree Doctor of Physical Therapy.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
On behalf of the faculty and staff of the School of Health Sciences, congratulations to all of today's graduates. Thank you.
It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Jean Lang, Dean of the School of Nursing.
Last but not least, will the candidates for Master of Science in Nursing, Nurse Practitioner, please approach the platform? Antigonia M. Iro. Oyinkansola Okinpelu. Rebecca A. Banyas. Simone N. Bentley. Bridget B. Brown. Thank you. Anna Cacares. Lauren E. Calgreen. Thank you. Mary F. Kadali. Walter J. Cole. Robin Cunningham. Mary E. Davidson Price. Emily J. DeRozier. Leah Fabrizio. Karen D. Farmer. Colleen A. Farrell. Erica R. Gay. Melissa R. Goklowski. Unalia Gray. Amanda R. Hall. Megan E. Holmes. Rachel M. James. McLynn Kumar. Kimberly A. Lamar. Erica L. Lucier. Erica F. McMillan. Melissa Mohabir. Stephen F. Morley. Jenna Mosier. Julie Nguyen. Dana E. Novak. Brianne Holland Riley. Sarah E. Roberts. Sharon B. Rookwood. Joan Foreman Schwartz. Lynn Marie Smith. Lindita Vinca. Shannon T. Whittemore. Mr. President, it's my honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Nursing.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Nursing, Nurse Practitioner, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of you.
be seated. On behalf of the School of Nursing, we congratulate all of today's graduates and happy Mother's Day.
Congratulations to all. Would everyone please stand? Please remain standing until the platform party and faculty have recessed. I'd like to invite graduates, families, and friends to a reception at the Rocky Top Student Center, which is just up the hill. You can see the building as you look out the windows up at the top there. I'd ask graduates if you would meet your families at the Rocky Top Student Center. It is now my privilege to ask Shamshad Sheikh, Muslim chaplain, to please come forward and close this year's exercises.
Graduates, I offer you these ancient words of blessings. May your heart be filled with intuition and words be filled inside. May your eyes shine with the light of kindness and compassion, and your face reflect the brightness of heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, and songs of praise ever be upon your tongue. May you know boundless joy and deepest fulfillment. May you be counted among those who bring healings and justice to our world. And may God, who is Rahman and Rahim, most kind and most merciful, help you, guide you, and protect you. Amen.